Hello and welcome to our tutorial. We are going to look at making a body for our character here. So we're going to have a quick look at how we're going to do that. So we're going to take our head here and select the vert count at the bottom. Now just let me turn on shortcuts so you can see them. So we have, if we look here, we have 13 verts at the bottom. So we're going to have to make a body with kind of a corresponding number of vertices. Now, just want to show you what happens when I apply the mirror modifier here. If I go and I look at the count here, I've got 24. So the middle vert was merged with itself. So instead of having 26, which is 13 plus 13, we have 24. So that's the number we're going to be working with. And we're going to undo the mirror. Okay. So that's our origin there. So we're going to add a circle, and this circle is going to have 24 verts in it. And we're going to lift this up to here and scale it in. Now, before we go anywhere, we're going to need a reference image. So we're going to add in an image reference, and we are going to get that. Let me load this over here, and show me some thumbnails. We'll probably just use this guy here, and we'll load that in. Okay, so a couple of things about the reference image that we're going to use. So let's press S here and scale it, and G to position it. So first things first, it should be, or we should, whoops, Z and wireframe. So we should try and make things match. So the size of this head and the size of my character should match. Now this guy's got quite a long neck. You know, obviously everyone's different. Also, he's got quite the extraordinarily kind of muscular body. So in the same way you get lots of weird looking sort of female characters that are disproportionate, this is not exactly the best representation of the male physique ever. However, all we're really interested in at the moment is scale. So we'll use that. Even though the scale, as I said, the head's a bit disproportionate to the body, we'll just follow this one for now for ease of use. Also, one thing to keep in mind is if you were going to use this character for in a different way, let's say for example you're going to import motion capture data, you might want to create the character in a T-pose with its arms out straight rather than down this way. It might just make connecting the mesh and the armature, the skeleton from motion capture a bit easier to use. Okay, all that said, let's have a quick look at this. So I'm going to take my circle here that I've made, and I'm going to press S and then Y and scale it a bit on Y. I'm going to take this image here, and I'm going to move it back on Y, and we're going to start from this point here. So I'm going to scale it up fractionally. Go into edit mode, Shift D. I'll move this down to here, and I'm just pressed E there for extrude, and I'm just basically going to try and follow the shape of this character. I just realized this text here is actually quite hard to see what I'm doing. So I might just swap that off to the left and then close that. Extrude on Z. Extrude. Now, whoops. Extrude on Z and scale. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go Shift D. So I'm going to duplicate this. I'm going to have a little think about what we have here. So There's 24 verts here, 24 in the bottom, so I actually don't want 24. Whoops, vertices. So I'm going to add in, I'm going to go add circle, but this circle I'm going to add in 12. Whoops, 12. And for the third time, 12, there we go. And we're going to scale that down. I'm going to place this here for my hip. And again, we'll just scale it on Y a little bit, just because we're not so completely cylindrical. And I'm going to extrude this down, rotate it a little bit, scale it. And we'll add in more detail in a moment. So I'm just going to do one leg. And we have to be sort of sure that we get enough geometry in around the kneecap and around the knee, or when we go to animate this character we'll get some really interesting anomalies. Okay. And we're not going to do the feet in this or the hands, we'll do that in the next sort of tutorial. And we'll leave that there, and there's, you can see all sorts of, so Control or is a loop cut, and I can scale it out a bit. I need to do the same here, Control or, scale that out a little bit, and Control or, and yeah. So I'm going to take this, I'm going to go Shift D, and kind of repeat this procedure up here a little bit. So I'm going to rotate this, and scale it, and place it there on the upper arm. And I'm going to extrude that a little bit, extrude it again, scale it up and rotate it, press G. We'll do that once more, and we'll scale it up and rotate it. Okay, and then we'll do the same here, extrude and scale. And in the same way that we needed a good bit of geometry at the knee, we'll need a decent amount of geometry around the elbow, just where we have some bending. Otherwise, when it kind of deforms, when we animate sort of a walk cycle, which we'll be doing shortly, it won't look good. Now this is all very basic stuff. Again, this is all quite crude, but we'll get there. And we are now missing. Let's go Alt H. No, we're missing the top circle that was there originally. You can see our head is miles away. So let's just take this ring here, and I'm going to extrude this on Z to there. I'll extrude it again on Z and then scale it in. And now we're just going to join these together in a very kind of crude way. So I'm going to take this reference image and press H to hide it, and I'm going to go back into edit mode here, and we'll go press Z and go into solid mode and have a look at this. So before I start joining this all together, let's go back to wireframe. Let's just delete one half of it and add a mirror modifier, and we'll turn on clipping so that we keep everything centered. So let's go back to solid mode, and we can, this way we only have to do half of it. So we'll select this face, 1, 2, 3. So I went into face select. Maybe we'll select 4 of them, and we'll go X faces. So we've cut a big hole here. We go back to vertex select, and I can select these 1, 2, 3, and match them with these 1, 2, 3, and I can go edge, bridge edge loop. I'm going to do the same down here, so 1, 1, 2, 2, 3 and 3, and go edge, bridge, edge, loop. So now we've kind of joined this together. So that's sort of the easy bit, and it is about keeping it easy. So I'm going to go Control or, put in a loop cut here. So put that to about there. Now I can go 1, 2, 3, 4. There's a face, and then I can go 1, 2, 3, 4. There's another face, and then you can see here I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, and I just need one more loop cut. Actually, no, I don't even need a loop cut there. I go 1, 2, 3, 4. Now I will end up adding more geometry in there. It's quite a large area. We'll do something similar over here. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4. It's a face. We're going to add in our loop cut here. Maybe move that slightly forward on Y. Go 1, 2, 3, 4. Add in a face. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4. And again, we're kind of working off the premise that we want. So move that forward a little bit. That we want our character to be made of quads and not of triangles. Just again, it'll deform in a more beautiful way when we get to animation. So that's kind of the top of our character there. And again, I'm going to go press Alt-H and take this and hide that from the face. I'm just going to have a quick look here. So this kind of joins around the center here. So we'll go into edit mode. And because we've clipping turned on, I can select these three, 1, 2, 3, and go back to front mode and extrude and sort of join there. And I'll take the center one and go GZ and kind of dip it down a little bit. And then after that, we're just, I'll again hide this in the background. We'll just join this together. So I can go 1, 2, 3, 4. And then 1, 2, 3, 4. So we can go edge, bridge, edge, loop. And let me hide that one. We don't need that. Now we definitely have more geometry down here than we have up here. So some of these should be easy enough to bridge. So we can go. There's a face there. That'll make sense. But what we really want to do is join these. Do the same around the front, so 1, 2, 3, 4, and then obviously that's not terribly human, so we'll go Control or make a loop cut, maybe go halfway and go, oh no, not H, G. Now I have proportional editing on, which I shouldn't have on. Control or and G, and we'll bring that out. Okay. So how do we join the rest of this together? Like, there are 50 ways to do this, and none of them are better than any other. But you can definitely see that I have, because I've put in my loop cut there, a line of geometry here that I'm going to have to join, so I'm going to have to cut this here. So I'm just going to wait for a second and join as much of this as I can before I add in my loop cut. So Control or, there's my loop cut there. And now I want to go 1, 2, 3, 4, and F, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, and oh, wrong one, and F, and you can see there's a whole bunch of this that needs to be all leveled out. And same over here, so 1, 2, 3, 4, and a face, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, and a face. And we'll bring this forward on Y, and that a little bit forward. And maybe we'll take that, and go G, Z, and G, Y. Okay. Okay, so that's our character from the front view. And what we're going to do is we're going to add in a subdivision surface modifier, and we'll tell it to shade it smooth, and we'll set that to 2. Now, what's going on here? This is basically where we joined bits together, and the normals have been reversed. So I'm going to go into edit mode, hit A to select all, and go mesh, normals, recalculate outside. And then all the normals are looking in the right direction. We won't worry about that for now. And I'm not sure what that is. Is that? I may have duplicate geometry. So I'll hit A, and we'll go mesh, clean up, merge by distance. There we go, yeah. So I'd hit extrude, hit E one too many times there. So you can see this is far from perfect. This looks like, you know, at best a wetsuit. So it's not exactly a human body, but we're getting there. So let's just join the head and the body together. So I'm going to take my head here. Actually, I'll take the body and move it to the head because it's got eyeballs in it. So we go GY, and we'll just move that forward to here. And let's see how we will join these together. So the first thing is, if you have two objects and you join them, whichever one you selected last, say for example like that there, so the head is the active object, whatever modifiers it has, they will be transferred onto the joining body. So this already has a mirror modifier and a subdivision surface modifier. This is subdivision surface and mirror. The order in this instance is not important, so nothing radical is going to happen. So I can go Control J, and something radical has happened. Okay, and that's because the center of this object here, the origin of it, let's see if we can find that. And are we showing the origins of objects here? Show me origins. There we go. So the origin of this object here is this little orange dot, and you can see it's right on this center point here, and the origin of this object is just slightly off that blue line, and hence if it's mirroring around the origin, things will change. So we will select the body, and we'll apply the mirror modifier. We'll select the head, and we'll apply the mirror modifier, and then we won't get that, but we'll also just try and center. Oops, take the head here and the eyeballs, and we'll just go GX. We'll try and center it up so that there is some sort of symmetry between them. Now, so I'm going to select the body and then the head, and then Control J is join, and we'll go back to solid mode, and we'll go into edit mode, and we should be able to select this and have 24, and this and have 24, and then when I do that, I can go edge, bridge edge loop, and while it's far from perfect, because you know the geometry is kind of bunched together, we can, with relative ease, we can fix that. So let's just, before we spend too long fixing it, I'm just going to go B and draw a box there. Let's see if we got everything. Nope. So B. So I think I have everything there. Maybe not at the nose. Okay, and we will go X, vertices, and mirror modifier. So that way we only have to fix things on one side. So we can take this here and press, let's turn this on here, and move this over to the left. Oh, juice that area. Okay, make sure the clipping is turned on. Okay. And oops. So this is again just temporary sort of fixes. These will require a bit of love and attention to make this look better. They were not modeled with each other in mind. So So I'm going to hit A, and I'm going to go mesh normals recalculate outside, and that way it at least all joins together. So we have a very non-perfect, imperfect character here to start with, and we can I have much to do here to make this interesting and human-like, but that's sort of our low poly starting point to our character. Far from perfect, but in the next one tutorial we're going to make a hand. We'll also make a boot, and we will then join them on, and we'll also look at then thereafter adding detail and the different ways we can do that, keeping in mind that what we're going to do with this character is 3D print it. So sculpting a whole bunch of detail, while it will be aesthetically pleasing, we're probably not going to be able to print a lot of it. So we'll leave it there for now.